Hi guys, Claude here from broadcasting simultaneously for Talk with Claude and the Keto Power podcast. So today the subject I want to talk about is care, okay? And I don't mean care as in the acronym CARE, but the word care and its meaning. So let's start with that. So I looked up a couple meanings, and it talked about care is when you, and I'm paraphrasing here obviously, but basically when you nourish and protect a person or a thing. And fair enough, but to me that's not the definition of care. That's how you can witness that someone cares about something or someone. Care is actually basically, the simplest way I can describe it is a hierarchy of values. Okay, so when you care about a thing or a person, you place them nice and high on that hierarchy of values. Now, another way to measure how much you care about something is where do you put your attention. And it's a bit the same thing, like I said, it's a hierarchy of value, but you can measure your care in how you spend your time. All right, you spend your time and attention on the things that are really important to you, or that you wish you could value more, or that you would pay attention to more. Are you paying attention and putting time into the things that will help you move forward on things that you value? Or are you spending time on things that don't serve you? In other words, wasting time. And that's an important question. And it's a struggle nowadays because we have a lot of media, we have a lot of commercials and things that aren't commercials, or don't say they're commercials but are a bit like commercials, and propaganda, and basically you have a lot of people competing for your attention, including myself in a way. And what's important is not to not give anyone your attention, but to make a mindful decision and choose where you want your attention to go. Choose the things that'll serve you, okay? Are you going to spend 6 hours a day playing video games, watching porn, reading a book, walking, raising a family? What's important to you? Where could you improve? And where can you create space, especially because you've taken on a certain routine and you do things a certain way and you've got your schedule, and now you want to take on something new and you want to make improvements in your life. So now you have to create space. So once again, what are you going to give up? What space in your schedule are you going to give up in order to make room for what's important to you now? So those are all things that you need to consider as a first step, as a prerequisite before you get anything done. And before you can succeed, you have to give this some thought. And don't let it discourage you. Most people have a lot of room where they can fit little something important for them. And a lot of those things that you're valuing that are going to improve your life will create more space, okay? It's not a net loss, it's a net gain. But if you talk to any investor, the thing is, in order to build yourself up, you have to give up something. You have to invest some time and give up things that you like, so that in the future you could be in a better space and in a better situation. But if you're not willing to make that sacrifice, then you can let life just take you by the hand and show you where to go without much thought. but that's like embarking on a plane for a trip and you don't know where the plane's going. Might work out pretty good, might be an interesting adventure, but it could also be quite a disaster. So you can take life by the reins and give some input and decide where you want things to go. But for that, you do have to give up a bit of time, make some effort, and that'll be your first step. Now, why am I talking about this? So the original idea to make this video was to explain a little bit to my clients that are looking to make changes in their lives, say with the ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, taking on a fitness program, and the like. Okay, so the first thing I want them to do is ponder how important this is for them and why they're doing it. And I think if you skip over that step, then you run fairly high risk of giving up or missing out or taking a different direction and not knowing why. So what I'm going to cover today, because I'm doing it for the simultaneous broadcasting on Talk with Claude as well, is I want to talk about care in the broader context, okay? Because this phase of doing things, you know, starting with care, okay? So the things that you care about are the things that you'll pay attention to. And the things that you pay attention to will bring you information, knowledge, and will arm you with the tools you need to take action. So the first step to anything that you're going to do and that you want to accomplish in life is care. And the way you can measure care is with a simple question, in my opinion. What are you willing to give up in order to have this? Okay? So if we were omnipotent, then you could care about everything at a very high level and care about everything equally. And you could accomplish all of it because you were omnipotent. But we're not omnipotent beings, which means that if you start to care about everything equally, then that's the equivalent of not caring about anything at all, because you can't take action. You can't take action unless you rank things in hierarchical value. For example, I've got my Cosmo here, my son's dog. We really like him. Cosmo. Hey, Cosmo. Hey. Hi. And I've got my daughter, and I like my daughter too. But if I had to make a decision that would have me choose between my daughter and the dog, obviously the dog would come in second, and I would put all my energies into protecting and nourishing my daughter. Okay? And so this is kind of how it works. And so if you want to take on an exercise program or start the ketogenic diet, you're going to have to give up things, okay? If you're doing a ketogenic diet, for example, you're going to have to give up carbs and sugar and maybe things that you find very pleasing. And if you're not willing to do that because those things are of a higher value to you than the reason for which you're doing the ketogenic diet, then it's not going to work. Sooner or later, you're going to put them first and you're going to sabotage yourself. Now, the other thing too is that you have to know the real thing that you're valuing. So people will come up to me and say, well, I want to lose 10 pounds, I want to lose 20 pounds, and that's what I'm aiming at. But you have to ask yourself more questions. Is that really the thing that you're aiming at? Or what does it mean to you if you could lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds or 75 pounds like I lost on that diet? What does it mean to you? Would it change your relationships with people around you? Would it make you feel better about yourself and allow you to act in a way that comes out and it brings out the positivity. Okay, so it's important to really be mindful of what your true motivations are. Like, I've got one of my two sons. He's funny because he wants to get buff, so he's going to the gym, and I'm like, oh, why do you want to get buff? Is it, he's 13, so at his age, it's not, is it your health and all that? So he likes to eat hot dogs too, and a lot of pizza. So obviously that's not the component that he's too worried about. So digging in a little bit, find out that he wants to look good on the beach, and he finds that as a strategy that he's gonna attract the attention of girls his age, and fair enough. At least if he's being honest with himself, that's his motivation, then it helps me understand him, and it helps him understand himself a lot more by being honest and saying, well, this is my motivation for doing these things, and I place a high value on accomplishing that. And then going out to the gym becomes a means to attain that end. It's not necessarily a means in itself. In his case, sometimes it can be, but I think it's important to have that conversation with yourself. So what's important is that you analyze why you do things and what you place as a higher value above other things to give yourself direction in life. And this is a prerequisite, but it's not the end. You can't just say, oh, I really, really value this thing, and leave it at that. But it'll give you the initial triggers that all of a sudden, when you decide and you're mindful about placing something at a high value for what you want to do, then your mind starts paying attention to anything that has to do with that, and any information, things often that you wouldn't have noticed, all of a sudden kind of get highlighted. At strange times in your life, you're walking around and you notice an advertisement for something that'll help you towards your goal, or you meet someone that you otherwise may not have found very interesting, but you happen to strike up a conversation, and you realize that making ties with this person can help you reach your goal. Or you start being repulsed by certain things that will obviously become obstacles to your goal. So for example, to get back to the ketogenic diet, your mind starts to equate certain foods with not reaching your goals. So it actually tones down the attraction to certain things that you should probably not eat if you want to use the ketogenic diet to lose 20 pounds, for example. Okay? And this brings me to another subject also that's going to be very important, and that's under the umbrella of care. Is it's important, if you're going to accomplish things, not only do you set your own values, but you start to network with people who have the similar values. Okay? I forget where I read or saw that, but I think it was very fair. Somebody was talking about getting rich, and so what they were saying is, if you hang out with people that hate the rich, then you're never going to get rich. Right? The two just are not compatible. So if you hang around with people that like to drink a 6-pack of beer every evening, then it's going to be very difficult for you to maintain your network, your tribe, based on those values, and give up those things in order to improve your health, for example, right? So when you start wanting to make changes in your life, it has very dramatic effects and repercussions on a lot of aspects of your life that you may not have predicted, unless you take the time and think, am I ready to do this? What am I willing to let go? Who am I willing to let go of? And who am I willing to get along with in order to have that done? And those are very important questions to ask if you're gonna put a step forward and get anything done in life, whether it's getting fit from working out, exercising, changing your diet. And I don't mean diet as in, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks and then I'm done going back to whatever it is I was doing, but changing your lifestyle and your nutrition will have repercussions and will affect that. So you got to think about what value does that have and what are you willing to give up to get it. And I think it's fair to get through that step first before you move forward. And if you get that step right, it makes everything much easier. It doesn't mean that things won't be hard here and there, but it really smooths out that path to getting where you want to go and accomplishing what you want to accomplish. So if you like this content, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell to get all future videos, and leave me some comments below. Let me know what you think. I certainly have just skimmed over the subject, and I'm sure there's a lot more that we could talk about. So let me know what you think, and maybe we'll pick up the conversation there. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.